Hi everybody, it's Christopher and welcome to Life's Not Over, It Just Looks Different, the YouTube channel. On this video today, I want to talk about the subject of complexity, and specifically I'm going to focus on complexity of array, or the scene around us. And the reason I single that out is because complexity also includes things like facial recognition, which I did in a previous video, and I actually gave facial recognition its own video in its own time, because as far as complexity goes, it's a subject all unto its own. But today I'm going to focus more on complexity of the scene. Now, many of us don't like clutter. We don't like cluttered environments. We don't like a cluttered room, a cluttered desk, anything like that. But for a person with cortical visual impairment like myself, or for kids with CVI, even something that seems relatively uncluttered to most sighted people or most of the people around us, it can be actually quite cluttered and make it even more difficult for us to find because it becomes very complex for us. And I'll give you an example. In my office, I have a bookshelf, and on there, of course, are a number of books, and I have a few other objects that I've put on there, and when I place them on there, I tend to space things out so that they become a little bit more easy for me to see from a distance if I need to go in and grab something. But if I get kind of lazy and I start just piling things on one particular shelf, then I'm creating my own clutter and my own mess that it makes it very hard to find that object that I'm looking for from a distance. Now, as I go up to that shelf, I can probably look at each item separately and figure out which one it is that I need, but from a distance it gets really hard. Or even, one of the other places that this can come into play is at the dinner table. It can be very difficult to find, the fork or even the cup or anything like that if there's a lot of other things going on. Like if the tablecloth is patterned, that creates a complexity that makes it harder to find that object. Whereas if the tablecloth is one solid color, it makes it easier to find it because now there's not as much competing information going on for the person who's looking at that table and trying to find that particular object. The other place that complexity comes into play for me is when I'm going to the grocery store. I can navigate the aisles and make my way through the grocery store without any problem. But where it becomes a problem for me is on each of those shelves, especially if the shelves are fully stocked, it becomes a nightmare to find any one particular product. I mean, that's hard for most people anyway, but at least they can sort of stand back and sort of scan the area and hopefully be able to pick out what they're looking for. For me, because my vision is also quite poor because of the cortical visual impairment, if I'm looking at a very crowded and busy shelf in a grocery store or a pharmacy, then I have to actually pick up and examine each item individually, or I have to get really close with a magnifying glass and scan each one until I find the one that I'm looking for. So those are just a few examples of complexity and what that's like for people with cortical visual impairment, kids with CVI, and for me as an adult. And in the next video, I'm going to talk about the tendency for light gazing, but I'm going to leave it there for now. If you liked what you saw in this video, please feel free to hit like down below. And also, if you want to subscribe and see more of these videos, please do that. I'd love to have you on this journey. And until the next video, I thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.